He has a 2,200 square foot house that's very hot in Las Vegas. And what he does with his money and time is go around and eats these foods. He knows nothing about food. He said, "Oh my God, it's gone." And it leaves behind a juice. We may not need to wipe out the entire human race, but we need to wipe out the internet. My wife just texted me. Power's out.
Right now?
Yeah.
These rolling blackouts, or
Is it a rolling blackout?
oh no, but you have a problem in your neighborhood with power or something, don't you?
No, there was a shooting suspect on the run in Echo Park, and he took down a power line.
No shit.
Yeah.
When are we going to be like fucking Germany? You could visit Germany, all the power lines are under the ground. It's been that way for 35 years.
You can't shoot someone and then take out a power line. That's way too inconsiderate. Killing someone is already extremely inconsiderate, but then taking power out for thousands of people, arguably a worse crime.
Like Pat taught us, if you're in the game, like taking life is kind of just part of it, but to inconvenience civilians, especially one of them is the King and the Sting editor who lost power, and I thought I was going to have to drive to Encino and postpone our recording, but no, everything worked out for the best.
Well, it's crazy because...
That's how you knew that, Nick?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
The issue isn't that the power's out. I mean, that stinks. That's stinky. Don't get me wrong. But how do you guys feel about this single text, power's out?
Oh, from the government?
No,
it's
from
my
wife.
What's the difference? Am I right, fellas?
We've been married for 3 years, but she's my wife. But what?
Well, conversations get shortened when you know each other. You should appreciate that. You want a phone call for that?
No, I don't want a phone call. I don't want to hear about it at all. I'll call her after the show. Why are you texting me the power's out?
Because she might say, I need you to bring home some ice or bring home dinner. I'm not going to be able to cook or something. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of this. The power's out.
Power's out. That's all I got. Power's out. Don't buy.
There's a little...
What? That's not actionable right now. I'm recording.
But I feel like she wanted to tell you, she was trying to do it even like concise, like just, kind of letting you know. But ultimately, you're right. It's going to mess with your head going into this APS. She doesn't even realize the sick rips you took during PMZ.
I took a bunch of sick rips during PMZ. Get it at patreon.com/anotherpodcast network. And also, this is devastating news. Devastating news. One, I need to go home and upload some stuff for us. But also...
Well, your computer's charged. Just charge it here.
I have been...
It's the internet, though.
I've been obsessed with... my father would be so disappointed. Manga?
Is that the Cuban dish where they mash?
Close.
Context clues.
Oh, that's Mongo.
Mofongo.
Sorry.
He's talking about the...
Saw a Great Drivers Dine Drives with Guy Fieri featured.
Yeah. My favorite are we got to do a segment where we revisit some of the old diners, drive-ins, and dives where they serve like...
Cranberry sauce on a cheeseburger.
Well, there's that, but there's also like down-home diner food in Arkansas. Shouldn't be consumed by human beings, right? It's like chicken croquettes. It's like pulled chicken and mashed potatoes, deep fried and covered in gravy. Guy Fieri is like, "This is delicious," and he looks at the camera. He's like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" Good on Guy Fieri though, because I would have shot that show in the head if I was the host. First year, I would have said, "I can't go to another renovated bus that's serving hot dogs with too much chili on it. I can't do it. I can't eat this shit anymore. I'm not your guy." But Guy persisted. Now he's a superstar.
I love that show. It's probably the most watched show in my household.
But tell him what manga is.
It is Japanese animation.
Oh.
That's the extent of my knowledge on it, and I hope Dylan really clears up some of my
confusions. So manga is the
anime, manga.
Manga is the actual comic book. Anime is the television adaptation. The manga gets adapted into a TV show, and I've been obsessed with this TV show.
What's the one where they draw him fucking?
Hentai. Yeah. The Japanese are very, very repressed people, and their imaginations pours out in a hauntingly beautiful way. Do you agree?
They're very, what do you call it? Like very diverse in how they deal with their people. They on network TV over there have like, one time I saw like a game show where how many times could a guy come in the same day? And it was a contest between 3 different guys.
Right.
It was an insane TV show.
Well, evidently they have sex arcades there that are floors and floors and floors. It's like multiple Costco's on top of one another, where like you go watch porn and you fuck like robots and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's because they're all so polite and stuff like that. But anyways,
a claw game of sex toys.
I've had one of those weeks where you just not. I haven't been on enough Magic Mind. Just not productive enough at all.
Spend a little too much time on manga?
Spending a little too much time on manga,
I have heard good things about the storytelling.
But what's important is I seem to have fast forwarded into the future, specifically the future of this podcast. Listeners of this show know full well that one of our muses is Ian K, the virtuoso of the food review game. Well, akin to Guy Fieri, I don't need to talk about any of that other stuff I was going to talk about, but akin to Guy Fieri, I have found, we can talk about manga later, I have found something truly incredible, and that is Ian K and Carol Juju's final form.
What a violent shift we've just made. I have to prepare myself mentally.
I think that I have somehow found a time travel device on the internet or something like this, because I have literally found it's just the spitting image of Carol Juju and Ian K. Now, for those uninitiated, Ian K and Carol Juju, well, Ian K is really one of the more famous, maybe I shouldn't say famous, one of the more notoriously talented food reviewers on the internet. He is a sad man who goes to fast food all over the country, specifically in the Los Angeles area, and tries all of their new menu offerings. Pat, what have you been buying from Carl's Jr. lately for What's the Deal?
What I got last time?
Yeah, what'd you get last time?
I got you the Southern... waffle fried chicken sandwich.
Right. Mm-hmm. So Ian will gallivant around the city exploring culinary offerings like that. But these two, from All You Can Vegas, go to some esteemed places, steakhouse at the Bellagio, and they tried their fares. Now, much like Ian K and Carol Juju, these people have a sickness to them. The fact that the camera has democratized content making, and I recognize the irony speaking into a microphone and a camera right now, but it has made the world a really sick place to walk around in. And it's evidenced by the final form of Ian K and Carol Juju. Now, this is the most expensive steak at the Bellagio. It is some Fakakta Wagyu filet, which means it is...
They're paying $160 a fillet.
Right, but it's also chum to sharks. This is a very, very cheeky menu offering.
I'm disgusted by myself. I went to a well-known steakhouse, felt like I overpaid. It was $350 last Friday.
Yeah, let's talk about Mastro's right after this, because it's a perfect segui. But the filet, to those in the know, is a flavorless piece of meat, one that rubes get duped into buying because of its tenderness. And if you buy an overpriced Wagyu filet, you are really a rube. You are really, really a rube. So let's check these two eating the most expensive steak at the Bellagio Las Vegas Steakhouse out.
That's Ian K? He is chubbed up and aged.
He uses a wide-angle lens, straight center, top-down view. This is what the man looks like. He doesn't have his pillows in the background. We are seeing in his actual form.
Are you guys doing a bit?
No, forgive me.
So this is not Ian K.
Oh, okay.
This is not Ian K.
Well, his wife was Asian, and I've never seen her before.
I know.
Oh.
Are you kidding? You thought this was Ian K?
100% thought this was
Well,
Ian
he's
K
high.
and Carol Juju.
Well, shockingly enough, it's not.
In my defense, I watched less of Ian K than you.
Oh, right.
All right, this is the F1 Japanese filet mignon. 6 ounces. And this piece of meat is the most expensive steak here at the Bellagio Prime Steakhouse.
You're
Okay,
trolling
so
me.
he speaks very, very slowly. And this is also one of these traps that a very, very expensive piece of meat. Usually the side offerings are thoughtless. They'll chuck carrots and broccoli on the plate. And when you say, oh, what's with this? This is steamed vegetables. They'll go, this steak's $300. Shut the fuck up and eat it. So he has shishito peppers accompanying this piece of gray meat. But can you imagine being sat at dinner and looking over your shoulder and going, what the fuck is going on over here? It's an old man and his older wife, and they're vlogging. What is going on?
I feel like he's going to bite into it. He's like, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a pretty exquisite situation.
Dylan, I'm not gonna interrupt this, but I went on a trip because too many people listen to this show that know where we work, with a coworker and his lovely wife. And we went to a Michelin star rated restaurant. And because they have a podcast, this particular couple, the entire dining experience with my lovely wife and these two was them doing video commentary and taking pictures of every plating. I think we had like 6. We did like a 6-course, whatever the fuck.
This is why you have to go on trips with people that you know very well and people that you care about. Because if you go on a trip with somebody,
I could not bust his balls. If it was you or Nick, I would have busted your balls.
if you cannot say, are you fucking kidding me? We're trying to eat dinner. You're vlogging? Then you're not at the you're not at the table.
His
with the right
wife
people.
threw up on the 3rd course, and then my wife and I look at each other, and her husband pretends like it didn't happen, and we're just like,
painfully awkward. It gives me anxiety. It shoots down my spinal cord and into my butthole. But let's watch them try.
Pat, I feel like I've already warned you, but if you're wherever getting brunch or breakfast, I'm taking pictures of my eggs Benny.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
Hey, Dylan,
It's not quite this.
for the sake of
For
confusion,
my series.
why did you bring up Ian K initially before you set this up?
because
He's the final evolution of
this
Ian K.
is the final
I see.
evolution of Ian
Forgive
K.
me.
So
Okay.
Ian K's career will take off. And what will he do with the money? He will start a new food review channel just with nicer food. That is Ian K's final form. Now let's hear.
This is what I want to do with What's the Deal, by the way. This is where I see that show going.
Right.
And it's $125.
Okay.
This is so tender. Wow. All right. Wow.
His wife's filming this from that angle. I can tell he's putting her to work here.
No.
You think they have a 3rd cameraman?
No, something glitching.
All right.
I cannot believe this is not Ian K.
Like it's already gone. It just melted. Like,
Yeah, you swallowed it, you fat pig.
Wow, and just left all this amazing flavor, just this juice of
Is Juju?
beef. It's so beautiful. Absolutely, look at this. You gotta try this. Oh my god. Wow.
All right.
Okay, we'll get to her tasting in a second. So this is the problem. He doesn't know anything about food. He's a dink. He doesn't have any children. Double income, no kids. He has a 2,200 2,200 square foot house that's very hot in Las Vegas. And what he does with his money and time is go around and eats these foods. He knows nothing about food. He said, oh my God, it's gone. And it leaves behind a juice. We may not need to wipe out the entire human race. but we need to wipe out the internet. This cannot be a place that gives people this kind of freedom anymore. It started out
with the best of
intentions. We were fine with libraries.
It started out.
The internet must die. It has to.
We will go there, by the way. That's what's going to divide us. The people that they just tune out. They take their fucking phones and they throw them into a swimming pool and they say, I'm going off the grid. I don't need any part of this. The kids now, they don't need to be looking at iPads. They can go out and play with rocks like I did.
Right.
And have a great old time. So are you following that particular? How are they doing? Are they monetizing this nonsense?
Crushing. They have 125,000 subscribers. They get like 100 to 250,000 views per video. They're eating Ian K's lunch. And why? Because he is Ian K and he's learned a thing or two about his career in food reviewing.
Call me a pig and call me...
Okay, pig.
All right. So I had an experience where my wife basically... said that I had to take her to an expensive restaurant. I hate that kind of experience because it's nonsense. All these idiots that are eating at a place like Mastro's, which is a popular steakhouse with a number of locations here in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, it's a franchise steakhouse.
Yes. And it's stupid. It's extremely expensive. And they're making money for pigs. I mean, they're making food for pigs.
Yeah.
Like, first off, don't get me wrong, I love a bread basket, but they bring out a huge fucking, hey pigs, here's the bread basket. They leave you sitting there like a pig for 20 minutes. Ooh,
you guys are wealthy pigs.
And then you get a salad, and it's just, I think people can spend their money better. Don't get me wrong. Some people go like, oh, I'd like to try it once, but never go back to it because it's stupid.
Here's the
thing. You don't
thing.
need to pay $160 for a steak, especially in Las Vegas.
Here's the thing about places like the steakhouse at the Bellagio and Morton's. They're soulless. Morton's is a replica of, a replica of another replica. There's a lot of Morton's locations. And when you're in Los Angeles, there are institutions of dining. I've talked about Musso so many times, but there's also, Spago, or there's the Palm. There are places that you can go to eat this expensive food that have character and history dripping on the walls.
The staff brings a lot of the character to it. They've been lifers. Like when people are lifers and they take their job seriously, they're not like, hey, can I take today off because I got I'm going to audition for a role on Matlock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, there's none of that. There's hunched over elderly who this is what they do.
This is their career. They take it seriously.
They don't take days off to food vlog because that's really what they want to do. Their heads are forced down to the ground. They can barely walk, and they serve a mean table.
And also, there's something to be said about an establishment that is doing the same thing in 2021 as they were in 1978 when the guy or woman opened up the joint. That's the charm of it.
Right.
These fucking replica steak joints, just because this fucking steak is in some gross hotel and it says the Bellagio Steakhouse, doesn't mean that you need to pay 4x on a fucking piece of meat than you would at a
Well, I mean, we've talked about Vegas ad nauseum. I mean, it's a disgusting place.
I hate it.
Once you're inside, this is essentially the McDonald's at the airport. You're in... They've got you. There's nowhere else to go. You want to go to Binion's? You want to get that $5 ribeye? Go for it. You'll be shitting blood tomorrow. If you don't, you're going to pay up.
In Pat's defense, you had an ocean view, no?
Yes, we did.
You guys
2 weeks for the reservation for that stupid thing.
So what'd you get?
I got the $60.
I got a turkey sandwich.
No, I got the I believe the 12-ounce steak. I felt so gross when I got out of there.
Sure.
I was a fat pig. I ate the entire thing of bread basket of bread. Yeah. Then you'd hate this because you call it the cockroaches of the sea. They bring out this instead of a shrimp cocktail. My wife said, "Give us the crab cocktail."
Oh, the crab cocktail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't good, was it?
I thought that was okay, but it's just I feel.
How much was a crab cocktail?
I think it was $32.
Okay.
This is why I felt I was troubled by the experience. I felt like a mark, like an idiot.
You feel like you're walking into a strip club.
Because I get it. If you're 32, you're trying to impress the 24-year-old girl that you're bringing out that you met at work, and you want to show, I'm going to show you opulence.
You're a married guy who loves his wife walking into a strip club.
Right.
It's
It's all fake.
No one loves you here. We don't need to do this. I know what's going on. We don't need to keep this ruse up, It's all horseshit what's going on here.
Horseshit. I know you loved that it's like it's
it's the ocean. Big fucking deal.
Can I tell you
the ocean part is defensible. I love a nice ocean view. It's the fear in me that is right.
No, but seriously, there are these places that have no heart, no soul, that are just with expensive steaks. And don't get me wrong, generally at these places, what you're paying for is a well-trained staff that isn't gonna, have a tattoo underneath their eye. Like they honestly no, because that would like take you out of the class.
No. Good service is, white tablecloth service is something to be paid up for.
Right, and that's essentially what I think you're paying for. Although by the time this bill was, I tipped out $100 because I was thinking it wasn't the waitress that just served us. She's got to tip down, I assume, to everybody bussing our table and all that shit. But it was a $500 day, quite honestly.
Yeah.
By the time you tip the valet, and for me, that's not worth it. I wish I could explain this to my wife. Like, honey, we could that $500. Can we save that for something that I think we'd enjoy a little bit more than this? Incredibly overexpensive, overpriced experience that we'll never remember. Yeah. And I'll have diarrhea the next day.
And it's not like you don't need to go on this Jonathan Gold type, hole in the wall discovery campaigns with the money. But, I don't know. There are better places to eat than that strip club you guys went to, and you must convey to her. You know what you should do? Surprise dinners. You pick a place. You say, I'm going to blindfold you, Maybe you don't have to blindfold her because that's a little creepy. And we're all adults here. It's a little unnecessary. But you pick a place you want to go and you say, we're going to dinner. I'm surprising you.
No, this is the move, and it became a TikTok challenge. You go, guess where we're going tonight? And she goes, my favorite place, whatever it is. And you go, yep, get your shoes on. It's a perfect crime. What don't you understand?
Well, her favorite place is not where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you got to get off TikTok. I mean, we have to find.
I'm not on TikTok.
We have
I
to
know
find
what's
the
happening
main node of the
TikTok.
internet, and we have to blow it up.
Guys, can I ask you something? And I'm going to get serious. Patty's going to get serious here for a minute. One of my biggest critiques of my wife and our marriage, no. This is, I think you guys.
You don't have to bring this up to save us. I want you to know that.
No.
Okay.
All right. So I met my wife in early 2013. I was in love with her by the middle of the summer. Okay. And by the fall, I was like, I love this chick so much. I want to take her on a trip to Europe. So I buy us 2 tickets to. We're going to go to France for a half a week and Italy,
Slovenia,
and so this is where I discovered the first time where I like, all right, I don't like this about this person. So we go get passports because we're going to be going to Europe in a couple weeks. I pay for the passports. We get them, and then I go, hey, it's breakfast. Let's go over to Patty's. It's this little spot over here in Toluca Lake.
Yeah. I know Patty's.
She says, I don't like it. I'm like, other places have lines. I go, let's just go. Now, keep in mind, I preface this by, I've paid for a trip to Europe. I've just paid for passports. We're leaving for Europe in 2 weeks, and I've recommended a breakfast spot.
Yeah.
We go to sit down. We go to Patty's.
Right.
I order my food. She orders something, and then when her food comes, she just stares at it. And she said, this is disgusting. And she pushes it away. It's not disgusting, by the way. It's Patty's. Right. It's one of those establishments that's been around for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
And I said, what's going on? She's like, it's disgusting. I'm like, It's not disgusting.
Right.
It's biscuits and gravy and it's scrambled eggs. It's not.
Right.
And she throws a fucking tantrum because I brought her to a breakfast place.
Right.
That she did not sign off on.
Uh-huh.
And at that moment I was like, okay, my wife she's an only child, by the way.
Right.
She throws tantrums about food.
Sure.
So where I'm getting, sorry, our biggest fights in the Hickey household
okay. It's okay.
is over food. It's over food.
Pat,
Yes.
you said this happened when you first started dating?
And it's now escalated. Any fights that we have are about food. I don't say anything.
Because really quickly before you keep going, that sounds bad.
It's bad, but
it's escalated. You're saying
my wife is a pretty nice person mostly, but if you fuck with her food, she becomes a 6-year-old petulant child that
She's
now
Joey from Friends.
will ruin my life.
Don't touch Joey's food.
If you eat a piece of sushi that is from her takeout,
yeah.
she will take note and she will stamper around the house and yell at me. She called her own father the other day because he complained about this. He said, yeah, Cherie called me. She wanted to know if I ate her chicken, whatever. And I was like, no, I didn't touch that. And I was like, that's how insane she gets about touching her food when she's going.
Is that how you talk to your father-in-law?
No, I'm doing an imitation of him.
Oh, got it.
He loves the hell out of me.
Uh-huh.
And he deals with the same thing. My wife is an insane person about food.
Right.
Insane.
Right.
All I eat is based on what she decides I get to eat that day.
So what you need to do is you need to go to a hypnotist. 100%. You need to go to a hypnotist. Or you need to sit down and have a conversation with her. Because what she reminds me of, and I don't mean to, you speak misogynistically.
No, go ahead. We're friends.
But she reminds me of an ill-trained dog. We have a lovely pair of friends. They have, honestly, my least favorite animal I've ever encountered in my entire life. I hate this thing. I hate it more than I hate, certain evil Republicans. And you know how I hate Mitch McConnell.
No politics.
Sorry.
Was it at the funeral?
No, it wasn't at the funeral, but it was at a dinner. It was at a dinner that we went to the other night. I have to tell this story, but what has happened here with you is very, very concerning. And I don't know how you didn't break up with Cherie that day at Patty's.
It was insane. I was like, we are going to Europe in 2 weeks. We just got done getting our passports, and she's throwing a tantrum about a breakfast spot.
Here is the thing. Have you ever heard the Patrice O'Neill bit about how women don't acknowledge the sacrifice that we make?
Well, they'd argue we don't acknowledge the sacrifices they make.
Of course. But Patrice's point is that men every day want to have sex with things all the time.
Other than you.
Yes. And what they don't acknowledge is that every day we fight that down. Mm-hmm. And
that's a gift we're giving them.
It is a gift that we're giving them.
He very eloquently summarized Patrice O'Neill, especially not even using the word bitch.
Right. You've heard this?
Oh, yeah. I listened
to
I've listened to all of Patrice O'Neill, and I've had people walk in on me listening to Patrice O'Neill. And it is abrasive.
It's unbelievably misogynistic.
God rest his soul.
But there is an allegory that is fascinating, and it's so funny. It's the allegory of the sport fisherman. Now, there's a sport fisherman, and his whole life is catching a new fish every day. And he catches the fish so that he can show his friends and take pictures of the fish.
Again, not saying bitch enough.
And then one day, one of the fish, let's call it a swordfish, pops back onto the boat. And the swordfish says, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave. And he says, okay, well, I guess you'll be the only fish that I catch now. And the swordfish says, so why do you have a pole and a boat? And, you kind of, you concede to the swordfish. You get rid of your boat and you get rid of your pole, and then things get worse. And then one day that swordfish will look at you and say, you used to have a boat. And what's happening is that the sacrifice and the concessions are not acknowledged enough from either party. But you've got a real problem here, buddy. I mean, she takes note. Mm-hmm. She's like a Terminator or something. Mm-hmm. So anyways, she reminds me of this dog.
This is Patreon?
No.
She doesn't listen. She's not a fan.
My least favorite animal I have ever encountered in my entire life. My hatred.
What kind of animal was it?
It is a.
Please say it's a lizard.
No, it's a dog.
Oh, okay.
It is a dog, and it is inbred, and has the orcs in Warcraft.
Yeah.
It has one of the teeth that pop out of its mouth like that.
You know the orcs in Warcraft?
I thought initially when we said orcs, he was going to say Lord of the Rings.
Or Lord of the Rings, yeah. So this dog has a problem with food to the point where when you go over to their house, there is a couple rules laid out with the dog. One of them being, if he does get your food, you must let him have it. Because if you don't, he will try to bite you.
Now that's the owner. Don't blame the fucking dog. Blame your friends that let a dog command.
Of course I blame them. There is a weakness in them that is profoundly sad. But at the end of the day, he's there, and I hate him. So we're at dinner the other night. It's after my nephew's baseball game. His team has one of those vicarious intense fathers whose son is the pitcher. They're beating the fuck out of this team that they're playing. I think they're up 8-9-0.
It's called a father, Dylan.
I go over to my nephew and I go, hey, just take it easy on him, okay? Give him a hug after the game, okay? Just be nice to him. He's a good kid. And we all go to dinner afterwards. This dog is...
But he lost, you said?
No, he won.
Oh,
wait, you bring the dog to dinner?
I walk into the restaurant, and this particular couple goes, check to see if they'll allow dogs. And this is what I was ranting about a couple weeks ago. Of course they do. Not only do they...
Outside or inside?
Outside.
All right.
Not only do they accept dogs, they love them.
They said that.
Yep. And I said, you sure? And I was right. We sit down, and this dog proceeds to bark. And he has this bark he hits this frequency that is eardrum shattering. Mm-hmm. It is the most horrendous bark ever. And all that is done about this is, hey. Mm-hmm. Happens probably 9, 10, 11 times throughout the course of the meal. Just these.
Takes you out of the moment.
Takes me out of the moment. I know the thing. It sucks for me. These poor people in this restaurant, you go to a goddamn dinner, and this restaurant has allowed some tooth-fangled fucking demonic dog with food problems to bark while you're eating a meal?
This is what you
Are you kidding me that's allowed in this city?
We have to set the tone. So what happens is a patron needs to come over, and I don't know what your friend's name, preferably the male figure. The third time this dog does it and he doesn't stop it, just cock him right in the face. Knock his ass out. Someone will video it. It will go viral, and we'll all learn that there's a danger if you allow your dog to misbehave at a restaurant.
Do you think that's the lesson that will be gleaned from that viral dog beating video?
I would hope. I would hope. Because it's the owner's fault. You chose to bring this in.
Of course it is.
You need to bring in, if you're going to have your dog in here, because you need to have your fucking dog everywhere, you're in charge of its behavior. And if it's misbehaving and you're not curating it, you need to be taken out.
When taken out?
I don't know. You always talk about killing people.
No, I know.
The instruction of if it eats your food, back the fuck off is fucking wild.
It's insane that people let their dogs behave like this. And you shouldn't let your wife behave like a dog.
That came full circle.
Yeah, that's why.
You have anything to wrap the show up?
No.
It's been a bad one. I apologize. I started off talking about manga. I think I'm going to cut that period.
I was going to show you guys Ben Affleck battling intellects on Islamophobia.
With
Bill Maher.
Oh, with
Bill Maher and that black guy.
It's a tease.
Oh, for the next one.
Patreon now. Yeah.
That is it for us. Hopefully we've imparted some wisdom. We'll be back next week. Remember, jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. 5 stars, please. Go to patreon.com/anotherpodcast network for more content, including Love is Blind, video, PMZ, the whole fucking shebang. We love you guys for listening. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.